Welcome back. So over the weekend I was busy laying up the tool paths for the ailerons now because we have to create the plugs for those. So this is basically what an aileron looks like. You've got the upper and lower skins there and kind of like a curved skin in the front, and then this kind of axis there, or this edge, is where the hinge attaches to, and it just sort of has a long piano hinge, so it rotates around that line. So anyway, the thing is, what we need to do is basically split it into two, an upper half and a lower half. So this is what the upper half looks like, and you see I've kind of taken that little curved leading edge there and made a little joggle out of it, because that will end up basically having a tape sort of seal around the front of it to join the upper and lower surfaces, and there'll actually be a weighted rod in there to balance out the aileron around the hinge point, so it sort of is evenly balanced. And this is what it looks like with all the flanges on there. So, and yeah, obviously I created the tool paths and things like that for that, and we've got the lower ones done as well, and we'll be milling the lower ones first, and they're pretty basic because it's almost just a flat surface with flanges, but anyway, you'll see that shortly. And Jeff's progressing with the various different things for the fuselage again. So he's got those parachute anchor points there sort of bolted in. We still need the right hardware for those, but basically all the hard points and the layups, the wet layups he did over that, are all done, and peel plies removed from those now. So next step is to work on the inside here a little bit more, and you'll see that in a minute. And here's Devon just gluing these bits of foam in place before that gets hot wired off. That's just to create the brace for that upper foreplane plug. And Zach's been finishing off this one, so that one's got all its wax on there, and it's got the rubber channel on there as well for the vacuum bagging for later on. So that one's ready to lay up, and the guys cut some glass for this one now, and of course the top of it got hot wired as well to make a nice straight edge along there, so that just needs to be glassed down now. And back on the engine, I got the governor adapter installed there, and I'm starting to hook up the plumbing for that. So see you've got the outline there that goes to the belt drive there, which runs through to the prop and actually provides the pressure to make the prop pitch adjust in flight. And then the other one coming out the bottom there, that's the return, the one we're sort of going to go down here. That's the return line, and that's going to run into the sump. So the cable's already been done, so we had to drill a hole in the sump. So here you can see there's the hole, and we've got a weld bung there that we're going to have a Brit weld on there, and the idea is to kind of angle the return oil in there so it sort of runs into one corner and doesn't create a whole bunch of turbulence in there. So I had to grind that down, that weld bung, so it's, when it gets welded, it's sort of welded on an angle, and as you can see there, it's going to be kind of like that. And that way the oil will sort of shoot and sort of return into this back corner of the sump there. So and again, so not to create little turbulence and sort of aeration and stuff into the oil as possible. So hopefully that works out for us, but that's what was needed. And this is another part there for the ailerons. That's for the main aileron control there. One of the last pieces there just needs to be welded up by Brit. And speaking of welding, Devon has been welding up the frames for those new plugs for the ailerons. So this is the first one there, all done. And as you can see, this is the lower one, 2 inches of foam on there, because it's just basically just almost flat. There's a little bit of curvature and stuff to the aileron lower skin itself, but it's basically just flat with the flanges on there. Of course, we want to get the shape and everything as well, and there is a little joggle around the edge, so when it comes time to pop the part out of there, we'll know exactly where the cut line is, so we won't have to sort of figure out what the shape is. And here's Devon welding up one of the other upper platforms, or platforms for the upper aileron plug. So he did weld up all 4 of those ones over the course of the last 2 days. And so here's they've got the plywood on there now, and that just needs to have some foam glued on there. And Jeff's made some more progress here. So this is the pass-through area for where the the different lines run for the air conditioning system. So the two heater lines and the two refrigerant lines run through there, and so that needs to have its little hard point put in there and closed out as well. And a little bit later on, this is what it looks like. So he's basically put a hard point in there and then sort of tapered it off with some foam there, so a 45-degree angle, so that'll get a wet layup put over there to close it back out again, and then the 4 holes will be drilled back through once more, and then the fittings for those for the AC system will be able to be installed. And by mid-afternoon we had both of the lower aileron skin plugs done, and so the guys just cleaned up the foam there and cut some glass, so that's ready to be glassed tomorrow. And there's the other one. So it didn't take long to run those, obviously, because they're just flat and fairly simple. And the other one's already on the machine with the other, well, here it is there. That's the first of the upper ones. So it's a little bit more complicated because it has a little bit of slope on there and a little bit more ball mill on that sort of front sort of sloped edge there. But anyway, that one's underway. And the stainless steel tube that I was waiting for the wastegate bypass arrived, so I quickly tacked on the V-band flange for that one. That's a 1.5 inch diameter, and I think I didn't mess it up nicely. So then I had this put together, and I already had that little cardboard cutout I did last time, so I created the right cutout there, and then spent a little bit of time just working the end of that pipe just to make it fit nicely against the exhaust pipe there. And it's ready to weld up, although that flange that I ordered recently there, the one that you can sort of see on the right side of the thing there, that hole there, you can see it's like totally off center. So I've had to actually order another one there because it didn't line up with the actual turbo housing. So that's going to slow down because I don't want to weld this in place until we get that one in case it's slightly different. But anyway, so things are still moving along with the engine, and we're going to get there and get that thing started up again soon. That's the update for the first half of this week, and thanks again for watching.